Network Tarot House. It's a special Mother's Day edition. Mother's Day was yesterday, and so we've got a mother of a show for you tonight. We'll be discussing the mothers in the tarot, the mothering styles of the tarot queens, and having, a lot of fun and some mother name game tarot court card associations along the way. So it should be a great show. And my co-host Tarot Tim is in the house with me. Hey Tim.
Hi everybody.
What's going on?
It's been a good Mother's Day. It's always a little different for the people that don't still have their moms around, but it's a celebration of me, of her life, and memories and stuff. And I do the ancestor thing on that day.
Yeah, well, that's great. We'll get more into that in just a minute. Drinking game alert. Tarot Tim won't know it, but anytime anyone says the following word, you'll see it up here on your screen. Take a sip of your caffeinated or special beverage from your Ace of Cups, and drink until you start wanting to take your mom's advice. That's how I see it. So it's good. All right. So I want to open up the discussion on the moms in the tarot and the mothering styles by Tim asking you about your own mother, who is no longer on this plane, correct?
Right. She passed when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
I would say she was very much Queen of Wands. She was fun and fiery, and oh, Lord help you if you did anything to her baby.
Yeah. Great.
Was very much. People tell me that I remind them of her because we were tempered very much the same. She had a good, quick wit, and and so y'all can see how pretty she was.
Aww. Oh yeah. Look at all that hair.
That was the year I was born.
Aww. Yeah, all the hair. It's very, very Queen of Wands. So
yes, yeah. Big Southern,
Right, big hair, dramatic. Yeah, very.
Yeah, that was 68. So big hair was in.
Right. Yeah, that's very Queen of Wands to me. Yeah.
It was very hands-on, very, she was one of those moms. Whatever I wanted to do or be was fine. I mean, how many moms are going to buy their 8-year-old son the Barbie dream house and the Corvette and everything,
Right.
Especially in the deep South where we were at. So, yeah, she was way ahead of her time in that way.
I think so. I think that's very Queen of Wands also to me, like very like fun-loving and very like free and liberal. But then the fact that she understood you as an 8-year-old boy to me is very Queen of Cups, like very nurturing, very compassionate, really trying to relate to you in that way. So I think that's really beautiful. Yeah. Well, as for me, I was raised by, I would say, Queen of Swords mother, like very, a lot of structure, very black and white, very disciplined, boundaries. Like we can get into the Queen of Swords and her mothering style and justice along with that. I know before the show you and I were kind of talking about justice as how that can be a mothering style. But yeah, I would say Queen of Swords for the most part, mother. Very into rules and boundaries. But with at the same time a little bit of I would say Queen of Cups flavor to that. Not so much the sympathetic part of the Queen of Cups, but more like the creativity that comes with the Queen of Cups. She made like all of my dresses, and she made like every birthday cake, and she was very like artsy and into that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So like that was her way of nurturing, I think. But yeah, it's interesting. Everybody's mom is different for sure. So let's get into the mothers in the tarot. I know you and I were discussing the mothering styles of the 4 queens, but then we can also kind of discuss the Empress and Justice. And I think the World was another card we were going to pull into this. So, all right, so pick one of those. Just, do you have a random pull one? Or you want me to pull one? I'll just pull one out.
Well, I grabbed one.
Okay, what you got?
Well, this is from a deck called the Fellowship of the Fool, and actually the World card has been changed to Gaia.
Oh, yes. Mother Earth, the goddess. I like it.
That's
Well,
the
in the
ultimate
world,
mother.
the ultimate mother, yes. The source, yep, where we all come from. The mother that nurtures us, that we rely heavily on. It's interesting that you had brought that card in the world in the conversation, because I know before the show we were talking about that, and I see the world as a motherly card to me, because in many ways I see the world as this womb, but not just womb, but the actual vagina, like where we come from, like where, the opening, and I see that this is very like motherly and feminine, and often when I see this card in a reading in certain places, this is what you're giving birth to, this is what is really emerging from you, from what you're conceiving, and I really think that it's very motherly to me in this sense. And mothers are the life bearers, the life givers, and it's special when that card comes up, I think, for certain things.
Absolutely.
I like it.
And if your mom's really like that card, you are very lucky, because you're going to have all kinds of people and ethnicities and culture in your life, and it would be all inclusive.
That's right. Yeah, an all-inclusive kind of mother. Yeah, embracing, nurturing. Yeah, very very open. Yeah, I see the world as like a very open card also when it comes up in certain contexts. Like, yeah, open-minded, open thinking, open. Yeah, the world is open to you. So the world is yours, I think. And I think that's kind of what every mom really wants. Is for you to have the world, give you the world. I think that's great. What else have we got? We were talking about justice earlier.
Yeah.
Justice, and the Queen of Swords. Now here's a set of moms that you would want to,
Right?
see coming.
She's a little less stern in this deck, though.
Oh, in your Robin Wood, yeah.
Yeah. That was a little easier to take.
Right.
Because it's the right or wrong, but it's also balanced with understanding. So that one I can take. Queen of Swords is one of those. I think Mommy Dearest, Joan Crawford.
Really, Mommy Dearest is like Queen of Swords to you?
Yeah.
You think? See, to me, that kind of like psycho mom would be more Queen of Cups, because she's got like serious issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely the shadow side of the Queen of Swords.
Like, her issues run pretty deep, I think. Like, the Queen of Cups mom, to me, it's like, the good side is, that very nurturing, creative, compassionate kind of mom. But the dark side of the Queen of Cups mothering, to me, is like smothering, I think. Really, it's not mothering, it's smothering. Like, she's in your business, she's jealous, she, kind of takes on the, different personalities, like that kind of thing. You're never really sure, because she's water, what she's going to be next, what she's going to say, and she's kind of trickles in your life in these kooky ways. I think that's like the dark side of the Queen of Cups mom.
Yeah, it's kind of Roseanne Barr on her show.
Yeah.
She did some nonsense to our kids.
Right, like it's really, So Queen of Cups mom is I think a fun mom with her good qualities. But the mothering style of the Queen of Cups mom, the downside of that, I think, can be clingy and jealous and a little crazy, But going back to Justice, I think that, and this is the Morgan Greer that I pulled the Justice card from. And she's, she's very stern. This is the mom that says, I'll take you out kind of thing. Like, don't do that. Mom's rules. My house, my rules. That's definitely Justice, or the Queen of Swords kind of mom, She's laying down the law. You better not, get on her bad side, fall on the wrong side of her sword, She's not afraid to cut you. So
Right.
I think. But at the same time, I think that the mothering style of, like, Justice or the Queen of Swords like those boundaries are needed though at the same time, because like the Emperor in a way, the Queen of Swords and Justice really set those boundaries for you, really
Right.
give you like that discipline and help you learn to live and work within, honestly, a system, the system that you're going to have to live and work in when you grow up. Like you're always subject to somebody's rules, you know, somebody's law. So I think that like at least these mothering styles, they give you that structure early on.
Yeah. What teaches you to be a productive part of society?
Yeah, exactly. Boundaries.
No rules, and you wind up being, you know, a brat.
Well, exactly. Yeah, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands moms, they're a little looser. They're exactly with the parenting, I think. Yeah. It's like, kids are kids, you know? Like that's kind of a Queen of Wands mom, I think. Yeah. Like very fun.
I was, you know, out in the middle of nowhere on dirt roads in the country, and, you know, my mom passed when I was 8, so we escaped that terrible teenage kind of angsty thing that I'm sure would have been real fun.
Right. Right. Well, and I think that, like, in some ways, yeah, like, well, in the Queen of Cups even, I think the Cups courts, to me anyway, the Cups courts have this kind of very, like, youthful, but almost like they can have kind of a childlike essence to them. So I think with like a Queen of Cups mom, the mothering, yeah, has its good points, but it can also be like if you as the child, you're parenting her. I think if you have a Queen of Cups kind of mom, yeah, like you're parenting her. It's almost like she's the child and your roles are reversed, which isn't easy, you know.
Right.
I think with the Queen of Cups. But I also think that, yeah, the Queen of Wands, it's very, like, free-loving and, you know, loose, whatever goes. The kid needs to explore the world, so I'm not going to, you know, who am I to stifle their spirit? Like, that's very, like, Queen of Wands attitude. But what I found is that one of my friends, to me, has, like, a very Queen of Wands kind of mom and a very Queen of Wands, like, mothering style. And she's very, it's almost like constantly competing with your own mom for attention. You know, because the Queen of Wands is dynamic, has to be center of attention, the brightest one in the room, you know, and I think that, yeah, the Queen of Wands mom and mothering also has its own challenges. Well, all the queens do, really.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think my mother and grandmother could attest to that because, you know, being the mother of that Queen of Wands, she kind of overshadowed the other children. It's like, you know, she was born and she was the 7th of 8. So it wasn't even the baby that my grandpa just like, she was the sun and the moon and the stars and...
Yeah.
You know? So that does trigger that little jealousy thing going on with it, I think.
Right. Well, I think, yeah, the Queen of Wands... Well, you know what the Queen of Wands' favorite note is, right? At least this is what I think.
Okay.
Me. Like that's, you know, like that's so Queen of Wands to me. Yeah. Her favorite note. But yeah. So the Queen of Pentacles. What kind of like mom, mothering style would you associate that with?
You know, the Queen of Pentacles for me, she feels very earthy. I mean, she's involved in, you know, the daily, down in the dirt kind of nitty-gritty part of the mothering. It's not all airy-fairy and, you know, it's not theory. She's very hands-on.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, hands-on mom.
And then
Oh, go ahead.
I think in the later years with the Queen of Pentacles, though, the issue may be they try to be their friend and not their parent in a lot of ways.
Really? With the Queen? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I would think that, well, I mean, I'm not correcting you. I'm interested. Because your perspective's a little different from mine.
Yeah. I think, you know, the way you're raised definitely tweaks this, and we're going just completely on instinct with this because we did no research at all to change our minds. But yeah, I think...
No, I just think it's interesting that, yeah, you see the Queen of Pentacles that way. Because to me, the Queen of Pentacles is like tradition and stubborn, and I would think that the wands would be more, or cups would more want to be like your friend. But this, to me, the Queen of Pentacles mom is like mom's law, like what I say goes, because I'm the mom, I'm your older, or your elder, yeah. So I think that's funny. You see her as a little more benevolent than I do, which makes sense, though, because my own mother was, like, very traditional. So, exactly, the way we were raised.
But she still wants, what she wants. But it's more like, I think it feels more like peer pressure than parental pressure to the kids,
Oh, okay.
Like, she's going to get your friends on her side and make you do stuff.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I see the Queen of Pentacles mothering as traditional, kind of like the Queen of Swords, only maybe a little bit more benevolent, Yeah, but the Queen of Pentacles to me is, traditional, stubborn, like she likes things how she likes them, you know what I mean? And, but also the working mom, I think the Queen of Pentacles, to me, that's kind of mothering, like the working mom, career mom, who's involved in all of that. But
that would even explain some of my feeling as far as the friends. Working moms tend to not be the hands-on power of raising. They tend to rely on other people to do that, and then they come in and they're not necessarily the ones that do the discipline, even though they're behind it.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, right. So then they would be friendly and more trying to relate on that end of it. Yeah, I see it. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I was just curious. Yeah, about your viewpoint. So very cool. Very cool. Well, we've got the big mother in the tarot also, the Empress.
Yeah.
Empress. I would say that's probably the mother that really comes to mind in the tarot. Yeah, is the Empress. In many decks, she's even shown as pregnant because she's, the life bearer, life bringer. But you know what I like about the Empress, and I have seen this, I wish I could remember what deck that it's in, but there's this one deck, the interpretation of the Empress is really great, and I think it's one of the darker, one of the darker decks that I've seen. I can't remember which one it is, but anyway, it's the Empress, but instead of being like this beautiful, like feminine, flowing, pregnant Empress, it's like this Empress she's pregnant, but she looks like this pregnant demon, and you can see her, like she's got like the heads of who knows who, like in her hands, and she's like all fire and kind of like stomping through the Empress card. And I love that interpretation though, because yes, the Empress can be beautiful and feminine and like create life, but as Mom always says, I brought you into this world, you make me angry, I'm going to take you out too, and like, so that's why I love that interpretation of the Empress, because it was really illustrating the power that the Empress has. She's life bearer and life bringer, but she can also take life away, because that's how powerful she is. And I love that interpretation.
I do too. And when you're talking about that, of course, we all know I'm a pop reference kind of guy.
No, I think that's great. That's what I love about it.
Very Game of Thrones, Mother of the Dragons, because she birthed the dragons in the fire, and those are her children. And yeah, she definitely metes out justice in her own way, and she will lop your head off if you get in her way, literally. So,
that's great.
Perfect.
Yeah. I brought you in, I'm gonna take you out, kind of thing. Well, and I think that that's a meaning of the Empress that's often overlooked. And even like for me myself, and that's why I love that card interpretation, because it really made me think about the other. Because it was like, when you see the Empress, you just see it as positive, it's just a beautiful, positive art. But by its nature, it has that other side to it. And I think that's great. I love that. Well, and I was looking on the chat board, because I've been trying to keep up with that, like during the shows, and Eric was asking about reversed cards, like reversed queens. So if we had, like what would that mean, I guess, in a reading, or even in terms of mothering, I guess. Yeah, the reversed meanings of some of the mother cards. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, in my practice, I don't actually do the reversals as such. Not that I don't get negative meanings. I just kind of rely on my own instinct to know whether I'm in the shadow side or not. And, I mean, we'll definitely, if you get into shadows, that's the crazy, abusive, just kind of mom that you really don't want anyone to have. That is the whole mommy dearest kind of mom.
I think that's one, yeah, and I think that can be one part of it. Yeah, if you're looking at the reversals in the tarot, mothers of the tarot, yeah, it could just be that quality that's, turned on its side. Deepen.
Not everyone should have children. And just having the child doesn't give you the mothering, loving instinct. So it could even be someone who just doesn't feel like they're your mom because there's not a connection there that you made.
So that's blocked. So you would see that energy as kind of blocked.
Yeah. An estrangement of some kind where there was an issue, and I mean, for me, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is mothers who throw their kids out because they find out they're gay. That would definitely be a reversal.
I can see that. Yeah.
Or they don't like your boyfriend you're going to marry, or don't approve of your life in general. I mean, there are some of those are my way, highway, and sometimes it's the highway.
Well, and I would think that in that case, a reversal would be quite literal, even. Like, mom, like, you've given her this news, you've literally turned her upside down. You know what I'm saying? Like, this queen is literally, her world has been completely rocked. She's upside down. And so whether or not she turns right side up again, that's like up to her. But I think that's also illustrative that it's about her and her stuff, and not so much what she's reacting to. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and I think the tarot can be like that, is that, sometimes you have to read it literally. Like, literally, this reversed queen is a woman who's literally getting her world turned upside down. Yeah, absolutely. Or, in that sense, it could also be, like, very freeing. I personally don't read reversals either, but it does happen. Like, every now and then, one kind of escapes, and it gets flipped over. But in which case, I feel that, that's significant. But I also think that sometimes it can also be a release. Like, sometimes the reversed queen can be, she's turned upside down, she's really stuck in her stuff. It's very shadowy, I guess. But then it can also be very freeing, because I've seen sometimes, like, say the Queen of Swords is turned upside down. Okay, she's putting down the sword. You know what I mean? Like, she's putting it down. She's releasing it. She's no longer, like, upright holding it. So sometimes it can be a release, and that's a great thing. I guess it just depends kind of on what the surrounding cards indicate.
Right. It could be a letting go. The child may be an adult, maybe getting married and moving out of the house and graduating college or whatever, and maybe she has to let go of a little bit of that mothering, smothering, Take a deep breath and just say, okay, fly. It's your turn.
Right, yeah. So I agree, I think it just, and that's where the really intuitive part of tarot really comes in. It's like, what from that reversal are you feeling? Are you feeling that, yes, these cups qualities are now negative and shadowy, or maybe it's, a release of that emotion, or, again, maybe you read it quite literally. That's funny, like, I would think that a reversed queen paired with the hangman, because then you've got double, like, they're both hanging upside down at that point. So I think that literally, and that's what I love, when tarot is very literal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to know what the Queen of Cups means. You don't need to know what the hangman means. But when they're both upside down like that, you could look at it literally, like, whoa, she's really in a tough spot right now. She's really turned upside down. She doesn't know what's going on. That's assuming you're reading for somebody who's asking about somebody, but it could also be if you see that reversed queen for the client with the hangman, with, whoa, she's like, in which case I think that it's almost, I don't want to say fruitless to continue to read or to turn over more cards, because I think that it can be useful. It can be guidance at that point, but at the same time, throughout the reading, you have to keep in mind that this person's so turned over. You know what I mean? It might be good to kind of sit with it and let things settle if it's like doubly turned upside down like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I think that, yeah, it would be useful to pull a few cards for, okay, what can we do to kind of turn right side up again, you know?
Yeah, the last time I really had a reversal like that with the Empress, it was the Tower, the Empress, and it was actually someone who had a miscarriage.
That's tough.
That it was tough.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's my little, just trying to help her see that, you know, you got to go on. But you know, the hard ones, I think, are what we're here for. Those are the ones that mean something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So did you know that she had a miscarriage going into the reading, or was this something that she was waiting to see if you picked up on it?
This was almost at the end of the reading, and up until that point, it was like pulling teeth almost, because I knew I was getting correct information, but it hadn't hit what she was wanting to talk about, and she didn't want to tell me anything, because sometimes clients don't want to tell you anything because, you know, they're testing you, which is fine. Yeah. You know, test away. I got no problem.
Right.
You know, I think we had to get to the point where I had told her enough, she trusted enough to actually let go and let that come out. And hopefully she felt a little better and had a little more understanding.
Right. Well, and so this brings up an interesting question. Because there's various, I guess, schools of thought on this. A lot of readers won't read for pregnant women. Is that something that you do?
It never occurred to me not to read for pregnant women.
Well, I think the thought being that, but I personally feel like this translates across all people, no matter who they are. But I think the thought being that you have to be careful, like what you say, if you see something wrong with the pregnancy, or if that's the hit that you're getting, because it's not responsible. Like, what's responsible at that point, you know? So I was curious. I thought I would ask you kind of what your thoughts were on that. Like, do you read for mothers to be?
Yeah, and well, I specifically tell everyone before the reading, you know, what readings are and are not. And part of that is anything that comes up that you perceive as negative or that feels bad, it's showing it to you so you can be proactive in your own life and change it. You know, so if it's telling you the pregnancy and there's illness and there's this and that and the other, well, okay, that's showing you to take better care of yourself and to be careful and, you know, make those doctor's appointments. And if something really bad happens, you know, maybe you were just helping to prepare them for that. I could never say no just because someone was pregnant, I don't think. Because then what if something did happen? You'd feel horrible that you didn't try and help them.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's another point. What was I going to say? Well, and I think it depends on the reader, and I think it depends on the approach. We've all heard of these crazy readers who are not legitimate, who you would not want to read pregnant people. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the angle that they're going to go for.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's, reader.
I see a dark orb, give me $300 and I'll burn a candle for you. Yeah, no.
Right.
Don't do that. Run.
Well, it's been said on this show before, at least on the blog talk when we were with that. But yeah, if that's the case, if somebody wants you to pay them thousands of dollars, head for the hills, because no legitimate person is going to ask for that kind of money. That's crazy. Yeah. But no, okay. So I wanted to know your thoughts on it. I personally prefer not to read for pregnant people, because oftentimes I found that that's their of course, as mothers-to-be, their main concern, really. And so because that's kind of in the back of their minds, like, is the baby okay? Am I okay? They've got doubts about birth, and especially if they're first-time mothers, you know what I mean? That's already kind of predominant in their thoughts. And sometimes that registers in the cards, you know what I'm saying? But just that fear registers in the cards. And so you don't want anything scary to come up. You know what I mean? Even though you can, especially if they're not familiar with tarot and how it works, you know, because you can kind of guide them through this and help them with it. But at the same time, I'm not sure, for me, that I'm comfortable having that on the table in the first place with them being like this, because they're very vulnerable and impressionable, some of them, you know, and I'm not sure it's, for me, I'm not sure it's responsible. So I often try, and I'd rather not in the choice. I'd rather not read for a pregnant woman, but I have done it. I think some of them that understand tarot and that are, you know what I mean? Like, they're in a good place with things. Like, yes, absolutely. I read for them. I read for them on certain issues, and it's been fine, you know? So I think it depends on the person. It depends on the reader, the situation.
What's interesting, because if they're pretty far along, there's another person there. And you may pick up cards that have nothing to do with her. You may be reading for the baby. And you can't, that's why I have people that want to come in all the time that are best friends or whatever, family and stuff. And I said, well, that's okay. But if I start talking about something that makes no sense to you, it's for you. Because you're together, the energy's one, and I can't separate that out, you know, unless I know who I'm talking to. So.
Right. That's a good point, yeah. If depending, yeah. Far along, and you can pick up on that. And
babies pick up so much more in the womb than people think they do. That's why, you know, reading to the baby, talking to the baby, massaging the baby, those are all beautiful things, and you'll get that connection before the baby's even born.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because the brain is developing. Like, this is like, they know this for a fact. That, yeah, in the womb, the baby's brain, and the baby has senses, you know. It's absolutely a living thing. Yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, I have read for pregnant women, and it's been, you know, a couple readings were really lovely and beautiful. I remember this one woman, I think I knew her because she's like a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing, you know, but she was more comfortable with tarot, and she was interested, and I think at some point I had also read for her before at like another festival. But she came in and she sat down, and she was really pregnant at this point. But what was coming up, what I was seeing, was that this baby would really, how do I want to put it, like, kind of like open up the heart of the baby's father. Like, because she was married to this man, and I guess he had a lot of like childhood pain, and you could really see that. I think that the Emperor really registered in this reading multiple times, like it just kept coming up, that he had really kind of built these walls around himself, and he was really like a good man, but an isolated man in a way. And what I was seeing was that like the baby would really help open him up, like emotionally, spiritually, like it would really be very healing for him to be a father for the first time and to experience this. And the baby was a girl, like, you know, it was going to be a girl, and this would really go a long way for him. And so she really was, I think, touched by that, because she had, I think, been hoping. And again, she didn't voice any of this, but I'm glad that I read her and that was the message that came forward. Like, that's an example of how it was a great reading, you know, and she was, yeah, very, but yeah, it was good. So yeah, I think it depends on the person in front of you, it depends on the reader, it depends on the situation, yeah, and everything.
I'm very low-key. I don't, you know, and go out and hand out my cards and do stuff. I probably should. But the people that are supposed to connect with me, I find they do. And so if, like, someone expecting connects, I figure that's for a reason, too.
Yeah. Well, and one of my friends was pregnant. This is when I was living in Delaware, and she was pregnant, and like the pregnancy was perfectly fine, no complications, nothing of that nature. So, you know, and she was very open to tarot, and we, you know, I sat down with her, and we were like, we're just going to play around with tarot, you know, we're just going to play around with this. And I was like, I wonder if I can come close to figuring out when in your due month the baby's going to be born. So that's what I did. Like, I think I did, I drew 4 cards, one for each week of the month, you know, so week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then, like, intuitively, whichever one kind of came up for me, like, that's, the week I would go with. So I think in this case, I mean, it was something that to me felt very, like, obvious. Like, 4 of Swords is probably not going to be, you know, the week that the baby's going to be born. But the Ace of Wands, that's pretty good, because you have that power, that spark, that push, so to speak, and then the baby's born, you know? So I think it was like something like that, or the sun. But anyway, so I went with that week. Okay, you got 7 days in a week. Let's lay out 7 cards and see intuitively, like, what card that's going to be. And sure enough, like, I got within 24 hours, and it was really cool. I don't know if I could do it again, but it was awesome. Like, I think that, what was it? It must have been, like, the 9 of Wands or something, followed by the Page of Wands. It's like this, ta-da, the deck I was using. You know, he's in all this light. It's like, ta-da, baby, you know? And so I picked the day before because I saw the 9 of Wands as that final push of energy, like that burst of the wands. Yeah, just everything. And so, but then I think he came like a day later. That was the actual page or something like that. But it was really cool. So I think, you know, that's, excuse me, I'm like have to burp. But yeah, you can use the tarot, I think, in that way, and that's really cool. Like, you can just play around with it, you know? Like, let's see if we can pinpoint this, you know? And then
phone calls from expectant mothers wanting you to tell them when their baby's
well, it's just fun. Like I said, I don't know if I could do it again, but it was within 24 hours. That's pretty good, you know? And I think the Ace of Swords was maybe thrown in there too, like next to that page. And I showed it to Robert at the time, who was my mentor, Robert E. Graham. He's since passed, but he was a very gifted psychic and tarot reader. And he took one look at, I think, that 7-card spread, because he was reading them as a whole, as the psychic that he was, more than the tarot academic. And he was like, oh, she's going to have a, what's it, well, you might not know, but what's it called when they, not a C-section, but when they have to, like, clip you down there to get the baby out? Anyway, it's some kind of, like, minor thing. But he was like, oh, she's going to have this, you know? And sure enough, like, she did. Like, they had to, you know, yeah, to cut her down there to get the baby's head out. But he totally saw that. So I think that that's funny. But it's just an example of, yeah, you can use the tarot for timing. Doesn't always work out. Not always. But sometimes, yeah, you can narrow it down.
Oh, yeah. So you can use tarot for anything.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but it's a tool to, you know, that's what people don't seem to understand. It's a tool. So you can use your own psychic abilities and focus them. So, you know, anyone can read tarot if they just start and practice. And, you know, it's like a muscle. The more you do, the more you open, the stronger you get, you know. Are some people naturally adept? Sure. You know. It's a gift.
I think it's a gift. I think it's like anything else, you know, like, yeah, some people are more naturally inclined, but everybody has that ability. And I mean, if you're watching this show even, and you don't consider yourself like a reader, well, that alone shows that you're interested and you've got some ability. So roll with it. Like, I think, like we said in a couple shows ago, I mean, there's something for everybody in this field. There really is. If tarot doesn't call to you and you're more, you know, left-brained and or is it the right brain? Or see, this is like, I'm
right brain is artistic, left brain is mathematical.
Okay, so I was right. Okay, so if you're more, you can tell I'm right-brained, right? So if you're more left-brained, then yeah, the astrology will call to you. Yeah, or whatever. Like, there's a method of divination that will work for you. There's so many out there.
Oh, I would just suggest, if you're going to do tarot, throw some cards and figure out what they mean to you before you look in the book to see what the meanings are. Because that way you'll find out if you have some natural, you know?
Right. No, absolutely.
Not that looking in a book, it's fine, but, you know.
No, I like that, because then you can develop your own meanings. Because, well, that's so true, because when I started out, I had the book in one hand, and I was by the book. And the thing is, though, is that once you start to, I guess, flex that intuitive muscle. Once the intuitive muscle gets stronger, then it's almost like the keywords and the book meanings are like, hinder that, you know? Because if your intuition says, oh, I feel that this is it, but the book meanings say this, it can be hard to break. You have to kind of get over that hump and just work with it. So no, I think that that's a great idea for newcomers is to, just jot down your impression of that card regardless of what technically it means. Some people think that's but
so mine was in a classroom setting, but occasionally I would think something that wasn't what the teacher was saying, and you know, she always told me to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my little tidbit for everybody.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting is to absolutely go through the cards, whatever you feel that is, to really take note of that, regardless of what the meaning might be.
Yeah. So, you realize we're just going through this whole thing where we're being the empress and illustrating for other people, for tarot moms.
Yeah, tarot mothers. Everybody needs tarot.
It's so funny. I've got 2 decades on her, and she really, in a lot of ways, is my tarot mom. Because she's the first one who forced me to really do it professionally.
I did. I pushed you out of the nest.
You did.
I did. I pushed you out of the nest. Yep. There you go. Well, no, I was the same way though with Robert, my mentor. I mean, he's a man, but he had so many of the feminine qualities. Really, I mean, he was a Cancer. He had a lot of planets in Cancer, so he really had that feminine kind of mothery, nurturing teacher element to him. And he was like my tarot mother, even though he was a man. You know, he really kind of pushed me out of the nest, and so it's good. It's a good thing. So I thought we'd play a little. It's game time, everybody. You can play along with us if you are so inclined. But I thought it would be fun to give a list, or to put 60 seconds on the clock here, and I will throw some celebrity names out at you, and you can give me the tarot court card that you associate, or the tarot queen, I should say, that you associate with this famous mom, and we can kind of go through that.
Real moms, or TV moms, or movie moms, or is it a mixture?
Oh, it's a mixture. It's all kinds of moms. So, and I don't even know if I have 60 seconds worth, so that would be funny if I don't, but, okay, so I give you the famous mom, you give me the tarot queen, or it could be the empress even, or justice, that you feel really you would associate with this mom, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we got Madonna.
Queen of Swords.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, Judge Judy.
I'm going to say she's a lot of pentacles. Queen of Pentacles.
Okay, Michelle Obama.
I think she's cups.
Okay, Queen Elizabeth.
I actually think she's the High Priestess.
Oh, really? Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, Britney Spears.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, come on, it's fun. She's the queen.
She's the queen of, I think she's a cups, but she's got some shadow side going on there.
I would agree with that. Yeah, Queen Cups. Kim Kardashian. Okay, Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa, to me, would be the world card.
Oh, yes. I love that. Okay, 60 seconds is up. I'll throw it out at you. But I know you had a few for me. Yeah, we'll have to discuss these in a minute.
Angelina Jolie.
Queen of Wands. That was my first impression. She's so sexy. She's got to be like wands. Okay, what? I'm sorry.
Joan Crawford.
Queen of Swords.
Okay.
That sharp tongue, sharp mind. Yeah, got to be Queen of Swords.
Bette Midler.
Queen of Wands. Yeah, Queen of Wands.
Barbara Bush.
Oh, she seems Queen of Pentacles to me.
Okay.
Yeah, like she's had to put up with a lot of crap. I think that's Queen of Pentacles. Yeah.
June Cleaver.
Oh, that's funny. I think. Oh no, I had another TV mom on there. June Cleaver. I would say Queen of Cups, but with that Queen of Swords discipline, boundaries. Yeah. Because she's very sweet at the same time. She's a TV mom.
Alexis Carrington from Dynasty.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen... I don't know who it is.
It's Joan Collins.
Oh. Queen of Wands.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's like drama. Yeah. Queen of Wands.
Linda Carter.
Who's Linda Carter?
She used to be Wonder Woman. Now she's a singer.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Queen of Wands, or maybe I'm thinking of her character. I would think Wonder Woman would be Queen of Wands, but her, I don't know. I don't know much about her, like, as a celebrity, if anything. I couldn't place her right away.
Well, there you go. There's the age difference. We're in my generation now.
That's funny. You're not that much older than I am, though. Are you? How old are you again?
I will be 46, the 30th this month.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, you're right. Oh, you're funny. Okay, hit me with one more.
Barbara Walters.
Oh man, Queen of Swords. Yes, very smart woman. Very smart woman. How about Oprah? That's a good one. Oh, Oprah's not a mom, though. Well, she's very motherly, though. A lot of people see themselves as her, like, she is queen mother of, media. And she can be motherly on her show, I think. Very compassionate and nurturing, wanting to help people.
I think she views herself as the high priestess. In a lot of ways, she's the Queen of Swords. If you don't agree with what the high priestess is.
Right. Well, she's also Queen of Media. Like, media is very swords to me. So, yeah, I can see her as the Queen of Swords, like, very smart. But also with, like, a little bit of Queen of Pentacles in her as far as the business goes. Oprah's a little bit of everything. Yeah, because she's very compassionate and nurturing on the show. She mothers people.
But she sometimes tells you how to live your life.
Well, that's very Queen of Swords.
Yeah, definitely. She wants for you to, toe that line.
Queen of Swords is going to tell you how to live your life, for sure. Yes. She's got it all planned out for you, even. You're going to do this. You're going to go to this school. Here's what you're going to believe. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, here's one more for you that should be age appropriate. Kelly Ripa.
Oh, she's so fun.
Yeah.
I think she's like, I would say Queen of Pentacles, because she seems so practical and down to earth, and I think that, I would say Queen of Pentacles. She just feels that way to me. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. I was going to say with maybe a touch of the Queen of Wands, just for the fun, loving, silly part of her, but I would say Queen of Pentacles. Because I think in the media, as far as she goes as, a woman in the media, she's really down to earth and, like, I am who I am. Take me or leave me kind of thing.
I think of all of them, she's probably the most hands-on mom, even though she's got all the money.
That's true. Yeah, very hands-on. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, hands-on mom, down to earth, practical, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Her kids are going to be little fiery things too, because they've got that Latino blood in them from their dad. So, she definitely probably has a little bit of the Queen of Swords too, because she probably has to.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
out of hand.
Set those boundaries. Oh, that's funny. So you said you saw. Let me see. Oh, Queen Elizabeth as the High Priestess. That's interesting. Okay, so talk about that.
I don't know why I said that, but when you said it, that card just popped into my head, and I think, the High Priestess is very powerful, and I'm not sure you'd call her a warm and fuzzy mom, though, because she has really important, magical, powerful things that she's concentrating on, including creation, of course. But, you create it, and then you have to make sure that it's all okay and following plan and doing. And I think tradition is very important for her. So there's a little justice thrown in there, too, probably.
Well, yeah, the High Priestess and Justice in the tarot, they go very much hand in hand. They're both between the pillars, even when you look at the symbols. Yeah, that just are in those two cards. Yeah, they're very, very similar, very connected. Yeah, you have the intuition and I think wisdom is coming to my mind. Like, there's the wisdom and justice, as doing what is wise, but then there's also like the deep knowledge and wisdom of the High Priestess. It's like very similar. So yeah, we hadn't pulled the High Priestess into the mom discussion either, but I do like that. Whereas Justice kind of sets those boundaries. Yeah, High Priestess Mother sets those boundaries in a different way. But I guess like the magical, kind of witchy, intuitive mother, spiritual mother.
It just comes to me too that Diana was probably way Queen of Wands, which is probably why she tweaked Queen Elizabeth so much when she was out doing her free thinking, because she was almost, a Bohemian royal, really.
Yeah.
She was visiting the hospitals with the AIDS patients and the lepers and, going to India and doing all these things that were kind of beneath their station. And definitely bucking tradition big time on what a royal was supposed to be and supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Right, I can see that. Yeah. The law.
Yeah.
The way things are done. Yeah.
And I do think Queen Elizabeth has a lot of cups in her, but I think she keeps the lid on that. It's not for public display at all.
Right. Well, yeah, because she's the face of the country. Yeah. Well, that to me, she also feels like Justice. That would feel like the Justice kind of mother, like this figurehead, serious. That to me is like Justice in a way. But yeah, with the High Priestess element to it. Yeah, I think that's funny. Let's see. Do you know? Oh, Lucille Ball. She was also on my list.
I'm going to say Queen of Pentacles for her, even though it's a lot of wands.
Right.
Because I think, yeah, she was fun, she was whatever, but I think those wheels were never not turning because she was very smart.
Yeah.
And even though they're opposites in a lot of ways, as far as the business acumen and the being in charge of their stuff, she reminds me of Dolly Parton in a lot of ways, as far as they have an image they project, but it's very controlled. It's there for a reason.
Yes, carefully constructed. You got to think of the construction of the pentacles. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, because my impression too would be like Queen of Wands, because she's the redhead, dynamic, dramatic, But then Queen of Swords, because comedy to me is a sword's quality, because the mind is so sharp with comedians. Like you know what I mean? Like they just go for it, and you can't keep up with them, and they're funny. So, but yeah, I love that. The Queen of Pentacles, that carefully constructed, worked on image, carefully crafted, very well, and even the work itself, I think, for a career like that, yeah, it would be very Pentacles. So yeah. I like that. That's awesome.
And the thing is, she was so good at that what she created is timeless. It's never not been in reruns. She has never been off the air in all these years, and the show is, there's still calendars and T-shirts and board games, and I mean, there's I Love Lucy lunchboxes and stuff everywhere.
Well, it's a brand. It's that Pentacles brand. Pentacles business, money, yeah. I like that, yeah. And you'd mentioned, the longevity, the endurance of the Pentacles. It's true. Pentacles are here long after we're all gone, And it's funny, some people, I think somebody asked me once, and it wasn't like a super serious reading. It was more like like, is my mom going to live forever, And I think that I did end up drawing the Queen of Pentacles. I was like, yeah, she's too stubborn to die. Like, she's, healthy as a horse. And I think I told him that because we were kidding around, And so it's like, yeah, she's healthy as a horse. She's too stubborn to die. That's total Queen of Pentacles. Like, she's going to keep moving. She's probably going to outlive you, honestly, at this point. So, yeah, you have that Pentacles longevity and determination and, stubborn. Like, they refuse to quit. Yeah.
That's my grandma. She was 93, but, I mean, she got, like, a divorce in her late 80s and moved out on her own. I mean, that's how... when she finally said she didn't feel good and went to the doctor, she was completely ate up with cancer, and there was nothing they could do. They told her to go to bed and have complete bed rest, and that she might get a couple of months. She refused to take the morphine because she wasn't going to be a drug addict. She was 93 at that point.
Yeah.
You know, she lived for a year at her house.
Wow.
She was in bed the last week when the doctor came out with that rattle. He said a couple of hours. She lived 3 days with a death rattle. The woman was tough as nails.
See, that's so Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a great story. All right, everybody. Well, we got to wrap it up here. Our word of the night was mother. I'm not sure how many times we said it, but I know it was a lot. So,
Yeah.
so everybody's ready to take their mom's advice at this point. So,
Don't go to her house and visit her right now. Stay home.
that's right. Stay home. Next week on the Tarot Talk Show, we're going to have very special guest, Melissa Haney. She is the Sassy Sybil and the creator of numerous Lenormand decks. Lenormand is a trend that has just exploded in the tarot metaphysical world. So Melissa's going to be here to discuss all of that with us. I just love her. I'm so excited. Tim, how can the viewers get in touch with you?
All right. You can get me on Facebook at Timothy's Tarot, or if you're in the Dover area, Dover, Delaware, that is, ID readings out of Belbrook and Candle. It's 678-4545.
All right, awesome. And I'm your host, Rebecca Brown. You can contact me by emailing the show, thetarottalkshow@gmail.com. And be sure to check out my blog, 365daysoftarot.com, and also my website, browntarot.com. That's all we have for tonight on the show. Join us Monday nights, only on the Pair Encounters Network. So mote it be.
So might it be.